Thank you, True Value. Looks like a beautiful day, huh? It's cold, but it's sunny. So, here in Northeast PA, things are still closed up, but more and more stores are doing the curbside pickup thing. And some you can even go into now. And one of them is that True Value where I just was. And thank goodness for that. Whew, because I have a story. Today is the only day of the week that it's not supposed to rain, which is why I'm out. It's just been ridiculous, the weather. But the Harley dealership near where I live in Honesdale sent an email last week saying that they are open for limited service and parts. My inspection is due in July, but in Pennsylvania you can get it done 2 months prior and they'll still put a July sticker. So even though it's May, I called them up and said I'd like to get my inspection done. They said, sure, come on down, don't even need an appointment. I was literally the only person there for service. There was one other guy there actually buying a bike. Good for him. Everything was done out in the parking lot. They kept coming back out to him with papers and going back in. Same deal with me. Gave him all my stuff. They took the bike in, did the inspection. And the reason why I wanted to get it done early is my front tire is starting to get a little low. Come July, it would probably be borderline if they would pass it. So I figured, let's just get it done now. And then I'll deal with the tire in July or August or whenever it's reasonable on my schedule. So everything went well. Did my inspection. Next, stopped for gas. Pull into the gas station and turn around and I'm like, that looks weird. My saddlebag is hanging on by one bolt. Ironically, it's the smaller of the two bolts, the 1/4 inch. The larger one, which is 3/8, has literally snapped. It just snapped right in half. I'm like, what in the world? I mean, I had to look at this thing for a couple of minutes just to figure out what the heck happened. The stud is sticking out of the fender, and inside the bag is the head of the bolt with the washer. There were 2 steel spacer shafts, and one of them was missing. I don't know how the other one was still on there. But, I mean, I was like, wow, okay. So, I'm at the gas station, and I'm like, how do I do this? Like, what do I do? So what I ended up doing was getting out to the entrance, firing up the bike, and there's a 3-lane road such that the center lane is one of those turning only lanes. So I pulled out in first gear, popped it into second real quick. The saddlebag was just hanging onto that busted bolt, just kind of resting on the threads. I reached back real quick and grabbed it with my hand. And I think I managed to flick my flashers on too. So I coasted down the road, well actually rode down the road, doing like, I don't know, 25 miles an hour in second gear with my flashers on, holding the saddlebag with one hand. And the reason I was doing this is I knew there was a hardware store up ahead. So this hardware store suddenly became my salvation. So as I'm getting closer and closer to it, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get into this place. Fortunately, there's not a lot of traffic. So I ended up slowing down and kind of chugging my way in, turning the bike with one hand, still holding the bag. And once I got in the parking lot, I was probably doing under 10 miles an hour. I just let go of the bag and killed the engine and coasted into a parking space. So great, I was there, but the battle was not even half over. Amazingly, I was able to find a grade 8 bolt. That sucker ain't gonna snap. The exact length I needed, 4 inches. And they had the steel shaft spacers. So I got everything that I thought I would need, a couple extra things, and a Snickers bar. Because, I'm not myself when I'm hungry. So, I'm cracking myself up today. I went back out. I had taken everything out of the saddlebag already. And as far as tools go, I had a Leatherman. And actually, I did this before I went in the store. I used the Leatherman plier tool to extract the stud from the fender, which took some effort because it's Loctited in there. So I got that out. What is this person doing? And I had an adjustable wrench so that when I put the new bolt in, I could use that to tighten it. And don't you know, I put on the new spacers, the new bolt. I didn't have any Loctite, but just to get me where I'm going, this will be fine. And it's as tight as a drum. It's probably tighter than it was before. And I'm back on the road. So I'm like just thoroughly amazed and thankful. I don't have a lot of tools. I just have a tiny little handlebar bag up there, fork bag. But I have what I consider the essentials. And the adjustable wrench was definitely an essential, and the Leatherman. So I think that's the first time I really needed tools in an emergency. And they pulled through. And you talk about fortunate. I mean, the hardware store being right there. I don't know, what I would have done otherwise. I guess I would have had to call somebody and have them shuttle me around to find what I needed. But it's back together, so the plan is when I get home, I'm going to take both the bags off and I'm going to purchase all new grade 8 mounting bolts and associated hardware and put everything all back together, new spacers, so that I don't have this problem again. I mean, I really don't have much weight in this bag. You can only put like 8 pounds in it or something like that anyway. So I guess it just was age, fatigue. I don't know. It's been on there 2 years. But the other thing, and this is really why I'm thankful, I just did a 320-mile ride, which is over 100 miles more than my previous longest ride. If this had happened then, it'd have been a lot harder. Let's put it that way. We were in nowhere, Pennsylvania, on roads that I never heard of, and not exactly near a lot of towns. So I would have had to have one of the other riders take me to find a hardware store, and yeah, it would just would have been a real hassle, hundreds of miles from home. So super fortunate that bolt held out for about 50 miles longer, baby. And You couldn't ask for a better place for the thing to break other than your own driveway. So that is that. Just had to put a little vlog up about it. I thought it was just noteworthy. I hope everyone is doing well. I am so done with the whole lockdown thing. I am so eager to get back to work, and I really feel for the people who are out of work, no income, just, all the businesses that are closed and may not recover. This is awful. It really is awful. So my heart goes out to anybody that's suffering as a result of that. I hope everyone is well. Till next time. All right, so I'm home. It's time for the postmortem. Yeah, that puppy just sheared right off. This is probably just a cheap hardware store bolt. Nothing special, and the stress of being installed laterally and constantly bouncing up and down, it just eventually gave.